And so when this happened to me in the beginning, I wasn't too worried. I've built a brand, I've built a network, and not just a network, but a network of people with great power. And month 1 and month 2 and month 3. And now the sting, like we talked about that first sting, now it's becoming hurt and anger because I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Was this all just phony? Was this fake? Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I am your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Corlin, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
Okay, this is going down in history. She's gonna do this over, and we've never done this before. Like, she's gonna do this over, and that's
Some water.
the first time.
Good.
Okay.
Hydration.
Okay.
Okay. What the-
Cheeseburger.
Welcome to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. I am super excited to be here today because today's episode is about something that we don't talk about enough, and it is grief. We've done an episode a few weeks back. This is a different type of grief. This is job loss as grief, and not just losing a role, but feels like losing your identity, losing your routine, your community, and a sense of what's next, right? So we are joined tonight, not just our wonderful hosts, Jamie and Corlin, but two women from the automotive industry who are living this with me right now. And so it's a little personal for me, but I am glad that Mabel and Vivian have agreed to just come along and just talk about this and just be real and just kind of put it out there. And hopefully our listeners are going to gain something tonight from our experience that can help them get through it, because I know there are so many people out there going through this. So, but I need you to do me a favor and go to Lead Like a Girl Lab on YouTube and like and subscribe and all the things. So let's jump right into, I like to start with a little fun icebreaker here. So I want to kind of go around the table here, and I'm just curious, when we're here, we're talking about jobs and careers. Anyone have a fun first job story that they would like to share?
You get first, like your first job ever?
Yeah.
What was? I want to know what your first job was. I'm curious about that. Anyway,
my first job I was actually 14. I had just gotten my working papers, and I was working at a flower shop that was like 50 blocks away. And the reason I know it was 50 blocks away is because I walked the 50 blocks in order to save $1 for the bus. And I used to get paid, and my job there was to throw out dirty flower water. And if you've ever gotten flowers, you know that it smells.
Yeah.
It reeks.
Yes.
It's right up there with rotten chicken.
Right. So
Moldy
my
water
job
is
was
nasty.
to make sure that all the flowers that were waiting to be bought, that they had fresh water. And when that water falls on you, it's just disgusting. But I was 14. I'm 47 now, so do the math. And at the time, I was getting paid $60 cash a week.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to save money. And every Friday I had a routine. I would walk home. On my way home, I would go to Blockbuster, grab a VHS, and then go to Domino's that was like 10 blocks away from my house, right? Get like a little pie, and that was my treat every Friday. But every Friday, I would, whatever was left over, I had to give my mom half. So let's just say I spent $15 on my way home. I still had to give her half of whatever was left over. And that was because she's like, listen, if you earn, you got to put into it. So you drink milk, you watch cable, you know, I pay for your school clothes. You gotta give me something in return. And that's just the way it was. And I had to learn real quick how to save money. So then, you know, I started doing the Domino's and Blockbuster combo every other week versus every week. And I would walk home. I would walk home from work because I was like, you know what, it's $1 I'm saving and I need the exercise. So, you know, and I had a Walkman. So as long as the batteries didn't die on my Walkman, I was good.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's so much nostalgia in that story. The
Yeah,
Blockbuster,
exactly.
The Domino's pie, the Walkman. I love it.
I know. And wow, you know what, Mabel, I know people get us confused all the time, but that is not what I was doing at 14. So kudos to you. You're a good kid. I love
Where was this? Where did you live, Mabel?
This was in, well, I grew up in Union City, New Jersey, and this was in West New York. So it was on 60th and Bergen Line. Bergen Line is like the main strip of the county. And it was right on the corner. It's still there. So every time I pass by it, whenever I'm in that area, I'm like, oh my God, I used to work there. But, you know, my second job was at 16 because I had that job for a while. And it was at working in the outlets and Sea Caucus at London Fog. And they were known at the time for their raincoats. And that's where I learned the art of telling someone, you know, a size 32W, you look amazing. Girl, you look good. You know what? Let me add a scarf to it because this raincoat really needs a scarf.
They're still known for their raincoats, but
Right. And that's when I started making real money. I was making, I think, 150 a week, and I was like, I'm balling right now. Like, you can't tell me nothing. Like, I am. And then I realized that there's taxes, and I'm like, whoa, wait, what?
wait a minute. What is that? I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know Uncle Sam. He's not my uncle. Why do I gotta pay him? Like, what the hell's going on?
Yep. Vivian, what do you got?
So my upbringing is a little bit different. So, you know, I'm from China, right, initially. So when I had my first
We
job,
did
it
know
was...
that, but thank you for telling us.
Oh, thank you.
I thought you were Dominican.
Yeah, I'm probably half Mexican because I can eat a lot of jalapeno peppers, and I love tamale and everything. So I love the culture here. So what my first job was sort of teaching English in a English, I would say a center that teaches people English when they are already at work. They need to learn English to do a better job or get promoted. And I was very lucky to be selected. The interesting thing is I walked into the office one day and out of the blue, I saw a person that I think I know on the campus. And so I found out she was one of the teachers, but that she never taught my class in college because I was still in college. It was very embarrassing. I didn't want her to find out I was teaching there. And of course, she teaching there isn't all that legit, right? So you can't really tell on others. But then somebody told me, hey, Vivian, you have to face it. You have to go into the office and greet her. And you have to have mutually agree you never tell anyone when you go back to college and you go back to the campus. So that's how we started. And then I had new friend, I just realized, because she was very nice to me and she kind of, you know, signaled to me that don't mention this when you go back to a normal class because I'm just making some more buck. Yeah. It was really fun.
Talk about Bruno here.
Oh yeah, and I did not know about income tax. I don't think we were taxing people's income in the same way here like the States. So I pocketed all the money I could make, and I felt like I was doing great because whatever the teacher in college was teaching here, they're making, and I was making a similar rate, of course, a little less than her. I felt like, oh gosh, I'm rich, but
Yeah.
of course I wasn't. That was a fun experience.
Love that. Absolutely. So let's listen, let's jump right into this. And again, this conversation is very personal for me. This is actually my second time in grief, which the first time I actually didn't identify it as that. And so I'm thankful that now I've been able to identify it, and it's helped me work through this similarly. My first go around was different from the sense that it really put my family in a hardship. We had to file bankruptcy. I had to live off credit cards, all of those things, versus this time things are a little different. We're not in a hardship, and the bills are getting paid and credit cards aren't being used. Things are tight, but it's a little different. So tell me a little bit about, is this your first time going through this? And if not, does this time feel different versus last, and why? Anyone can share.
I mean, I feel like I'm a mortician at this point. not to be
Why do
dark,
you say that?
Yeah.
because like I've just been, when it comes to work loss grief, I've been through it where it's been either reconstruction of the company, departments get cleared out, you get let go, you get laid off, all those innuendos. Again, I've been working since I'm 14. I've been through it at some point in my life. This last stint, which was in May, and most recently as well, but I'll get into that later. In May, that one hurt because I really thought that by doing the most with the least, that I was going to get seen. And while I was getting patted on the back, other things were happening. So when I was let go, it was a shock to say the least, but I kind of smelled it. My intuition was there. um and one thing about work grief is when you lose contact with the people you thought you were cool with the people that you
Oh yeah.
confided in, right? And then suddenly, either, even if you leave the job on your own, because sometimes it's self-inflicted, right? Sometimes you're like, this is not for me, I'm out, and you pull the plug. Or if it's not on you, when you lose that connection to people that you've grown with, right? That hurts the most, because now you're like, wait, I thought we were cool. You said you had my back, and you're not even calling to check up on me to see if I'm okay. Yeah, I see you lurking on my LinkedIn, right? So you're
Mm,
keeping your eyes on me, but you're not picking up the phone to see if I'm
mm.
okay, to see if I ate, to see if I even left my bed today.
Yeah.
And that's what hurts the most, because it's like you pour so much into things. And at work, we're there more than 8 hours a day. We're at work more than we're with our families.
Right. Right.
So when you're no longer there and you don't have that daily routine, whether you work at home or you're at a retail store, an auto, whatever the case may be, um, it's hard, because now you're out of the routine. The people that you talk to on a daily basis are not there. The people that you vent to and have your little session with, they're not there anymore, because they don't want, some people feel like once you leave a company, or the company lets you go, that you are a person non grata, they can't speak to you. And it's like, no, you can, right? It's that's the difference between the manager and the leader. It's like you gotta work and lead with empathy. And when someone loses their job, you have to think, even if they are well off, right? Even if, like, it's not going to matter to them, you have to think, how is this going to affect them? Because at any given moment, even if you have money and you could live off that, you may be going through something, right? You may be going through something, and then this is a mental setback, and it may do a domino effect where, even though you have things ready, lined up, you may not fully be there mentally, and it could really, really mess you up. I had a tiny nest egg, and I thought, oh my God, I'm an adult finally. And I lost my job in May. And like I said, I'll talk about that later, but I was unemployed for 6 months. And I had to, yeah, unemployment was there, but you can't really pay your bills with that. So, dipping into savings. Next thing you know, you're looking at your savings account and you're like, all right, so are my feet cute? Because I may have to, yeah, like I may have to resort to that, and it's tough. And it's tough to look in the mirror every day and be like, I think I got this. And you got to tell yourself you got this, because then you got other people like your family members, your tribe, right? I call it your board of directors. And they look at you and everyone's wondering, is she okay? Is she not okay? If you say you're okay, you're lying to yourself. Now, if you're honest and you say you're not okay, then people start kind of looking at you funny. And it is a roller coaster of emotions to go through work grief. Like, it's just literally the worst. And when it's around this time, like any holiday, you really have to be careful, because you could really set someone back a long time.
I'm glad you said that, because, we had an episode on grief, and we brought up the fact that a lot of people just have no idea what to say to you when you're grieving. And so that's a great point, because with work grief, it's the same thing, right? It's like you want to ask that person, how's it going? How's the job hunt or whatever?
Yeah.
But yet you don't want to, because you're like, do I ask them? How do I breach the subject?
I always tell people, because I've been through grief as well, losing family members, and I always tell people this: don't ask me how I'm doing, because I'm going to tell you and be honest, I'm not doing well. But I tell people, like, listen, don't ask me how I'm doing, because clearly I'm not doing well, right? Ask me if I ate. Ask me if I got up today. Ask me if I took a walk. Make me laugh, right? Distract me. Ask me something stupid. Send me a meme, right? And when it comes to work loss, right now we are in a huge crisis where people are saying, oh, there's no work available, and everyone's using AI, both the people hiring and the people looking to get hired. So the AI is not talking to each other properly. There's all these, catfish jobs, right? Like, I'm like, is this Hinge again? Because I feel like I'm swiping right and everyone's swiping left. Like, I have the credentials. And I just tell people, like, instead of asking, just be like, yo, did you eat today? You know what? I'm going to Uber Eats you some soup. Right? Or like, hey, if you have bandwidth, I don't mind going over your resume with you. Giving those little kind of helpful, like, hey, I'm here for you, goes a long way, versus, oh my God, don't worry, girl, it's gonna get better. Everything happens for a reason. Like, if I hear this week one more time,
God,
every door closes because, something better is coming. And I'm like, what better is coming? Tell me, because I'm at the bus stop and the bus is not coming. Like, let me know.
Yeah.
Someone help.
Yeah.
Vivian, is your experience similar to Mabel's then, or is it a different?
So I have a little bit of variance to Mabel's. That's because years ago I chose to come to the States and to pursue a higher education there. So I left knowingly that there isn't anything ready for me here in this land of opportunities, but it's a land of opportunities. So you come, you don't really have to worry. So I came with that blind passion, pursue a higher education, and also getting to know American culture by living, breathing it every day, and also being with fellow students and classmates, and communicating with different people on campus and also professors. I felt I was already successful. So it was easier for me to get into the door and taking an entry-level job and then start again. Because in the back of my head, I was younger. I was young enough to start from quote-unquote zero. But this time around is not the same. I felt, as shared with Jessica before, I felt I did my time, right? All the hurdles, all the troubles, all the applications, all the prove me my worth to everyone around me speaking broken English, this is behind me. I'm already now in part of American society. I should have known everything. People should see through me and see my value. And why is this happening to me? But I realize this is happening to me because there is a bigger lesson for me to learn. I really didn't intentionally build any network. So I think the Lord has helping me to get to know Stephanie, then get to know Jessica now, being Jessica being the vehicle to help me to get into a bigger network. But I felt the same thing that Mabel was sharing, that the people you're cool with at work, all of a sudden they're just non-existent at all. They don't know you, you don't know them. They probably check out your profile on LinkedIn to see if you updated them already or you have anything to add in there. But nobody would, a lot of people wouldn't really drop you a message or say, hey, can we have coffee? But a couple people who wrote a letter wrote an email to me or dropped me a message on LinkedIn saying that you did a great job here. We felt shocked and we were gutted. But I felt like at the end of the day, I am who I am. I got through the emotional hurdles and why you did this to me. But I'm not going to wear this as my new personality. I'm going to put it aside and say, Vivian is still the same Vivian. I care about you. If you want to reach out to me, I'm still available. That's the way of me healing myself because the grief period is still there. And I think the wound is still raw somehow to a certain extent. So I enjoy having a conversation with you guys and also talking to some friends. But if I have to live this life again, I think I could prepare myself a little better. And this is my miss. I have to take that on my own shoulders. That's my cross I need to carry.
Yeah, I love that you said that. And here's the thing, and I want to give our listeners and the two of you hope tonight. Because so my first go around, the company went out of business. That was like almost 20 years I was with them. That was my family. That was one of the worst pain that I ever felt in terms of loss and grief. This time around, what was different, but what I hear you guys saying, and it's common to me, was betrayal, right? I felt hurt and betrayed because I felt like I had already proven myself over and over again, not just, being good, but, I thought I was extraordinary and maybe I wasn't. But I also thought that I really made meaningful connections. Like I am the queen of networking. Like I am networking all the way up to executive levels, VPs. And so when this happened to me in the beginning, I wasn't too worried. I was like, oh, I've built a brand. I've built a network, and not just a network, but a network of people with great power. And month 1 and month 2 and month 3. And now the sting, like we talked about that first sting, now it's becoming hurt and anger because I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Was this all just phony? Was this fake? Was it like, these are people who know me, who have experienced my work, not just people who I'm asking to just speak up for me. No, like I've put myself in the rooms where you actually experience my work and you've left me out here to drown. And that was for me the hardest part. And I just remember asking God to help me because I didn't want to carry this anger that I had every day. Not just that somebody wasn't helping me, but knowing that I spent so much time building relationships with people with great power, and why are they not willing to help me? Like what did I do so wrong to them that they were just watching me slowly die over here?
It's not that you did anything wrong. You didn't. It's people often forget, especially a lot of times, not everyone, but a lot of times people that are up there on the top, they forget how they started at the bottom, right? Not to quote Drake, but you started at the bottom, now you're here. And they forget. They forget that struggle. And then sometimes when they are friends with someone like you and I and Vivian, that, you know, we lose it, it's a reminder of, oh, I could lose this at any given moment.
Yeah.
I could be them. Let me not get near them, right? But what happens? It's like, and look, I've been overweight, right? Like I've been 200, almost 300 pounds, and then I've gone down, right? When you're big, you have friends. People are nice to you. And they'll say things like, oh, you got such a pretty face, you know, but then you lose all the weight. And suddenly you're popular. You're Miss Thing. Everyone wants to be your friend. It's the same thing. When you have a job, everyone's like, oh my God, Jessica, I freaking love you. Let's do lunch. Let's do this. Vivian, let's do this. Oh my God. Suddenly you don't have a job and it's crickets. And it's like,
It really is.
so let me get this straight. Run it by me. You want to talk to me and be my friend because when I have a job, then my connections are viable, right? But now that I don't have a job, my connections are not that important to you.
No.
And those people are selfish.
Well, here's where the hope comes in. So after all of these months, it was on Thanksgiving that I got a call. On Thanksgiving, that I got a call from one of these executives with power. And she said, I'm thinking of you. Like, I'm just thinking about you. And like so many other people ask, you guys know, how can I help you? And I'm trying not to get emotional here because I was really struggling. And given the fact that I got this call on Thanksgiving, and I said what I always say, just keep me in your prayers. That's how you can help me. And she says, no, I want to know, how can I help you? And she asked me, where was I interviewing? I told her where I was interviewing, and she made some calls, and one call led into another call. And next thing I know, I'm interviewing now for not just one role, but for 2 roles. And it is not, well, you do the math, Thanksgiving today, we're not even at Christmas yet. And less than 1 hour before this call, I got this offer, and it's time still been delivered. And it was like, there was a moment where I was like, what did I do all that work for? And let's be clear, every time I showed up, it wasn't, oh, what can this person do for me because they have power? It's, man, one day that's going to be me. And I want someone to come to me and say, how can I help you? And that's all I wanted to do was say, how can I help you? And it panned out. And after all of these months and all of the days and all of the tears in my prayer closet and all of the anger and all of the, and I'll tell you, I want to kind of switch here to, you know, what's going to get us to the other side of this, right? And I tell people, don't chase applications, chase relationships. And even in your broken heart about all of these relationships, don't stop chasing the relationships because they matter. They're going to make the difference. And that one relationship is going to get you to the other side of this. We talked about this a little earlier, Vivian, and I want to ask you guys, and Jamie and Corlinda, even you don't have to be in this right now to know, like, what's your strategy? Like, what are you doing to get through this season? What are some of the things that you're doing? What's not working? And for our listeners, what is working? What has been working? And in hopes that we can give them strategy. Let's talk strategy.
One thing I wanted to bring up is just the fact that you, Jessica, like through this whole process for you, because we're so close, Corlin and I have been able to kind of ride this along with you. So I remember at the beginning.
You guys, I'm okay. You guys.
No, we know the truth. Like, we know when you're okay and we know when you're not okay. Because yeah. So, and I think that's important because, you know, you alluded to this maybe when you said that, you know, your tribe, your board of directors, like just surrounding yourself with a couple of people, and it doesn't have to be 10 people. It could be one person, but having a couple people that you can actually be super real and honest with when you're going through something like this, I think is just vital. But we were able to to witness everything that you're talking about. We were able to witness right at the beginning, Jessica. I remember specifically you saying, like, I can't believe how many people are offering help, and I can't believe how many people are reaching out to me. I remember that. And I also remember how many times you said, you know what, it's okay. I'm going to give it to God. It's okay. And I remember how many times you said, you know what, F this. Like, I am not okay today. Like, so we got to kind of go along with you on this journey. So I cannot tell you how happy I am that you got an offer. So I'm so happy about that. But one thing, and this might go a little bit back to the loss and the grief aspect of it, but I just know, for me, when I start to lose hope, I try to throw myself into something that kind of, I guess I try to pivot a bit, and so I put myself in service of others. So, in terms of, like, I was part of, I volunteer, right? So part of the Chamber of Commerce, for example, I was for quite a few years, and we did a lot of service projects and different volunteerism. And that also is a great way to network, so you're kind of taking a break, I would say, a little bit from your stressors, but you're also doing something good for others. So maybe that's not a strategy per se, but it just gives you a little bit of a, gives you a way to pivot and go, you know what? I'm going to take a break right now. I'm going to serve others. I'm going to be part of a group that I can help volunteer. I mean, WOCAN, isn't that what you're doing? Isn't that part of your group? Yeah. And you're networking, and you're meeting other women, and you're meeting strong women, and you're developing you're developing a new tribe. So I think that's part of
that I got an offer with is very much so connected to WOCAN. Like, it is one of our biggest supporters. So, and
that's awesome.
This executive that referred me is not connected to WOCAN. So it was like, from both ends of it. Absolutely. So that had a lot to do with it as well, which made it even more special for me. I didn't seek out this company because of that. Someone actually referred me that had no idea of my connection with WOCAN.
Mm-hmm. The thing I would add to this is that what I feel like what kind of shakes me through the conversation is that what I know of you, Vivian and Mabel, and what I know of you, Jessica, for sure, is that it is a ride when you realize that you go through life and you are making decisions, you're leading people, you're solving problems, you're driving all these outcomes, and then all of a sudden somebody makes a decision for you in your life. And I think that in my perspective, that is the hardest thing, when you have been the person that has been in control, and I have this, and all of a sudden you feel powerless and you feel like you're out of control. Did you guys go through that, or are you in that? And how do you get back in control as much as you can? And what are the things that you've done to kind of counteract that loss of agency and that loss of being able to make all the decisions?
You just gotta, I'm in that right now, right? After months of being unemployed, and months of interviewing with one company, I think a total of 8 or 9 interviews, 5 months of interviewing. I was made an offer, and I worked, and then we sadly realized that there was no alignment. And it was very shocking, right? Because in the middle of this happening, my mom is in the hospital with AFib. Christmas is around the corner. And you have to have a really strong sense of self to not go over the edge. Like, you really have to sit yourself down and say, this rejection is just redirection. And and it really is not, this is not on me. There was a misalignment, and shit happens. And I could let this break me, and I'll be honest, ladies, I was very, very close. The day it happened, I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to go visit my mom in the hospital, and all these things are happening at the same time. And it was very easy for me to think I could just take my car and drive into a wall. But then you have to think of the ripple effect, right? If I don't put the facts before the feelings. That doesn't only affect my family, but that affects the women of Wokan that I mentor. That affects the people that look up to me, or the people that have been following me for years, right? That I'm constantly being told, oh my God, you're so inspirational. I'm like, really? Because sometimes I wake up and my wig is sideways. Like, I don't even know what's going on, right? But you have to, and I say this, and I've been saying this for years, you have to check yourself on not a daily basis, on an hourly basis. You have to check yourself. Yeah. So
Did you say that again? Did you say this rejection is redirection?
Yeah.
Okay. I wrote that down. I love that.
Yeah. It's a redirection. And listen, sometimes we get a roadmap and we think this is it. This is the map. This is where I'm going. Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to get there. And there are detours. And you have to pivot, and sometimes we don't want to. I wasn't planning on pivoting right now. But what am I going to do? I could sit and cry about it, or I could be like, all right, it is what it is at this point. I have faith that this was just a tiny little setback, and that better things will be coming in my horizon. But it's tough. It's tough because, again, it's that whole grief. People you thought you were cool with, people that seemed enthusiastic about you, people that were giving you kudos, now don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And you're like, but we could still, because the way I look at it, it's like, all right, well, it didn't work out, but we could still be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And some people just don't look at it that way. And that's what really hurts. That's like, we're humans. We got feelings too,
Yeah. Vivian, I love Portland. That was a really, really great way that you put it, how you identified that, especially for those of us that are very much control freaks and ambitious, and
Which there's nothing wrong with that. I think that I feel like I didn't come around until we started thinking about this conversation and having like, what is the sadness and what is it? And it's everything that you mentioned. But I think for a strong professional person that has always been in control, and suddenly you feel out of control, that's where my anxiety kicks in a lot. If I can't control the outcome or have any kind of say-so in what happens in my own life, that is really, really hard to deal with. And then you're waiting on people that you don't know also, and what are their, so it's all the things that it's hard.
Yeah.
A couple of things I want to share is, for me, I always believed in striving for the best, and you need to really go in full force. But somehow in life, you need to slow down. I never learned the lesson, even though intellectually I understand this. But now put into practice, I feel like, oh, it's agitating, it's too slow, I can't slow down. Time is limit. I need to really get something better now, and to show the other people that I am getting a better job and better opportunity. And you guys, it's your miss, right? So, but now thinking about this whole thing is, when you want to control your work life, you want to control life, everything you want to control, the tighter your hands are crunching, and the more is falling apart. And there's a saying in China that the faster you go, the slower you are, actually. And the other way around, when you are in a slower motion now, actually you're faster than ever before going in the right direction. So I shared in the beginning of the call that I left China, coming to the land of opportunities, thinking I'm going to do great things. I'm not saying I'm not doing great things, but I felt like there's a pause, and the pause is longer than I thought. And I felt like, what did I do to deserve this, right? So I put my job higher than my personal life, higher than my religious belief, which is wrong. So if everything else becomes secondary, job becomes number one, then there is a lesson for you to learn, because the number one thing is not supposed to be your number one thing. Wow. So I think I am in this journey to learn.
Vivian, you're speaking my TED Talk, girl.
Oh, thank you. Because I had my focus wrong. I do know. I confess, and this is my confession, because I focus on the wrong things, and I think I am designed to fail because it's not the right thing I need to focus on.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm just a strategy. I need to get over this. Carolyn, she's talking about. So I make it a habit of talking to my parents early in the morning and late at night, right? So because we're 12 and 13 hours apart, so I want to make sure giving them my attention. I didn't do that when I have a full-time job. I didn't do well at all. I need to really take care of them, even though I'm across the Pacific Ocean, but I can still share some love with them and then show them how I care about them. Yeah. So that's really setting my day. And then I reach out to friends like you guys, and also reaching out to recruiters and trying to build a relationship that I never had the chance or intentionally built before. Yeah. I definitely know more people than I first came to the States. How come it happened to me now? Yeah. When my work experience is at the top, when my English level proficiency is at the top, when my financial situation is better than ever before 13 years ago, how come it happened to me now? I think it's teaching me a lesson, and I'm sure it is really steering me into the right direction. Wherever I'm going, I think I'm going in the better direction than I was before when I was hired.
Yes.
So putting it into a perceptive that's really where it belongs to. It used to be my God, and that's really wrong because I was worshiping the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Mm. And that's why I have this setback, which is a blessing in disguise.
Vivian, it's your TED Talk, girl. It's yours. Yeah.
Okay. I think that is the strategy I have, and believe me or not, I have this moment, this passion and this energy to focus on things that immaterial. But tomorrow morning, I have to do the same thing, because I need to tell myself, today is not a day that I have no goal, no targets, and I'm aimlessly floating around and searching around for jobs. No, I have a schedule. I worship my God. I have a purpose. He gives me purpose. He gave me something, right? He gave me this life. So I do that every day so that I don't really feel so trashy, so bad, and so worthless. Yeah, and I feel like this is the mantra I go through every day. And with that, I feel the power that I'm supposed to have to control this life. Otherwise, there is no way I can gain my sanity every day to talk and to communicate. Yeah. I probably wouldn't even be able to get out of bed.
Yeah. No, and I've had those days. I've had those days. And this also brings me to this perspective. I thank you for sharing that, Vivian, because I thought about this. I want to ask you guys, and this is how I had to get it, or I have to give my husband credit. I think he kind of stepped me through this. When you think of this season, and if you had to describe the season and only a positive from a positive outlook, that's the only way you get to do it.
That sounds like something Will would say.
Well, actually, he didn't say it like that, but I was just having one of those moments where I was being super negative, and he's just like, are you kidding me right now? And I was like, what? This is just great. And he's like, we went to Japan. We went to Africa. You launched a women's ministry. You launched a singles ministry. You are the VP of WOCAN. Like, he went on and on about all of these amazing things. And I literally felt like shit afterwards. And I was just like, I walked away and I came back and I was like, you know what? You made some really good points. Thank you for giving that.
Yeah, count your blessings and your achievements, right?
Seriously, I spend time with my boys that they've never had in their lives, especially the oldest two. Like, and so it just made me think, when you guys, if you had to give me, like, 20, 30 seconds of give me that this was a wonderful year. What do you got? Mabel.
This year I perfected my red flag detector.
You know what? I'm gonna slap you.
Had to be done. Had to be done.
Because in the past, you see the pink flags, they may be fuchsia, I don't know what, off-white. Uh, but after everything that's happened this 2025, I've learned in a positive way to look at these red flags and not just jump because I need to, or I'm desperate, or because I have to pay bills. Um, it's taught me to have a little bit more self-worth, right?
Good.
And be okay with things not being okay.
I love that. And what about those kiddos? Because I'm on your social media, girl. Like you are like a super auntie. Like, tell me about that.
Yeah, no. So the good thing is that this year, so their grandfather unfortunately has cancer and is in hospice, right? And in the summer they used to go to Spain with their grandparents. This summer, right before I was let go, you know, he was really sick, and it's like, we don't know if they're gonna go or not. So it was a matter of, can we afford daycare? Because they're twins and they're 11. And where we live, daycare is like $500 a week per child. And my family had just bought a house, so there was a lot of expenses. And we were like, what are we gonna do? They have to do something. And boom, right? I lose my job. So now I'm super auntie. I'm Titi galore. I make them breakfast. Now they're in school, but make them breakfast and lunch. They're in rowing. But something that my mom always told me, my mom's super religious, is that God gives you a lot of hints, right? God gives you a lot of hints in a lot of direction. But because we're so into our daily bullshit, we don't really pay attention to him. We're like, oh, we'll get to it. Oh, yeah, whatever, right? Even our health, like, oh, I don't feel good, but you don't really address it until you're like in the hospital in the emergency room. So God drops hints, and sometimes, many times, we don't realize it until he pulls the rug from under us. And he's like, you're gonna learn. It's either not, listen, I've been giving you hints. I called you. I texted you. You're not paying attention to me. All right. I put a flood in this summer. You weren't really focusing. So like, boom, this is what's gonna happen. And this is why you have to be grateful for like every little iota, because it could be gone at any minute. The same way you get it is the same way you lose it. But you have to, that red flag detector is real. Like, if you feel something ain't right, or you get that gut feeling, or you don't feel good about yourself in that situation, then that's not for you.
Yeah.
It's not for you. And it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, I love that. Vivian, what do you got? Tell me about
for
your
me,
super wonderful year.
Yeah, I still think 2025 is a wonderful year because I learned something that I have never learned before. And I have met beautiful people like you, everyone on the call, that I would never be able to experience and come into contact with if this had never happened to me. I think God has a perfect plan for me. He's just unveiling it little by little every day and teaching me to trust him even though I don't see the whole picture. And I don't really do well in leaning on because I want to hold the rein. And it's his way of telling me, we got you, I got you. Why aren't you leaning onto me?
Yeah.
And then the second thing this year is I paid more attention to my relationship with my parents. Even though I'm across the ocean, right, and 13 hours behind, but I intentionally made a schedule, a ritual every day to call them. And also, I paid more attention to people around me, what I can do for them. By being there available for them, I see my value.
Yeah.
I don't have to contribute to an organization for them to build their huge Taj Mahal building and their wonderful products and their skyrocketing stock price. I can still be a useful person, valuable to whoever needs my attention, needs ear, needs a pair of hands, and needs to be driven to the airport. Whatever I can do, or just striking a conversation in the hallway or in the elevator. So helping me to focus on the wrong thing. This is the biggest life-changing event that happened to me ever since I came to the States. It helped me to understand your life is bigger than your little job, your little team, your little company.
The work. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss out a whole forest if I only focus on one tree. And I've been telling myself every day, because these conversations has to be brought back so that I will be in the right track. Because human brain has a very interesting way to trick you into thinking you're the worst, you're worthless, and you're in a dead end. Nobody likes you.
Yeah.
But if I put all those memories, like today, after the call, that's a great memory of today or the year, the highlight.
Yeah.
I need to remember this and come back and watch the video on YouTube to remind myself, hey, this is a great year. Because you have wonderful, beautiful souls here, and they're all rooting for you.
Yes. I just want to real quick, okay? And listen, we don't have 1 million viewers or listeners yet, but there are going to be people that are subscribing to Lead Like a Girl Lab on YouTube, and all we need is one listener, okay? So I want you guys to just take really quick, where can they find you on LinkedIn, and what is your dream job that you are looking for next? Tell us who it is, because we want to be able to tell someone that tells someone that tells someone, and they need to know where to find you. So where can we find you on LinkedIn, Vivian, and what is your dream job? Not the job that you need, but the job that you want.
Wow, this is a great question. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my dream job and on my goal. So I am really a passionate person about customer experience, customer success, and project management. It's either in automotive or automotive service or in any other industry. I want to bring this skill set to anyone who needs me. And also, if you have contacts in China that you need help, you have a plan to go conquer that part of the world, I'm in.
Love it.
Yeah, just find me on LinkedIn, vivianwang.com there, / I think that's just me, right, on LinkedIn. So you will find me. Or you can find me via Vivian Wang, wangmeng@gmail.com. You can reach out to me.
Okay. And if you still can't find her, find me, because I'll get you to her, because she's going to be close wherever I'm at. I'll tell you that. Mabel,
Thank you.
What do you got?
I mean, listen, I too am big on customer experience and customer success, ever since I've started in the automotive industry and retail. And, dream job would be a director, director of customer success, a director and training and teaching people, like, all right, like, this is the Ritz-Carlton, but automotive, like, this is how you're going to do things. And even if you're C-suite, yeah, you're going to reply to emails with a video. You are going to send handwritten notes, those kind of touches to keep retention, right? And keep curiosity alive. Dream job would be also working with the Hispanic community. I'm Dominican, so I'm extremely proud of that. And just showing people that it can be done, growing up bilingual, growing up with a single mother who, sometimes we would come home and there was no electricity and you had to figure it out. But we did it. And it's that grit that keeps me here.
And that's the grit that's not on your resume. And that's what makes us all amazing, amazing women in the workplace. Listen, we can sit here, seriously, like I could probably sit here all night.
Oh, wait a minute. How are they going to reach me?
I know. I was like, wait. Mabel.
Because your girl needs a job.
Yeah.
I'm on LinkedIn. I literally check that by the hour. Mabel, Mabel Peralta, Peralta. You can't miss it. And I check my LinkedIn literally every hour. So if you send me a note or anything, I will reply.
Wow. Thank you, ladies. This has been, I can't even tell you just that I am on the other side. All I want to do is help everyone. And I'm going to start with the two of you. You can lean on me. I'm going to be out here screaming your names in every room that I'm in. Just a few takeaways. job loss is, it's not a personal failure. Vivian, I know you mentioned that, and I know that that is something that I felt many of nights and many of mornings. And, you know, grief needs witnessing, not fixing. You cannot rebuild until you grieve. I really had to connect with that one. The in-between is not wasted time. Talked about that a little bit. And leaders, people with power, if you can make space for people that you believe in, that you've experienced, please use your power to open the door for someone else. So that's all I got. Like I said, Lead Like a Girl Lab is our website, Lead Like a Girl Lab on YouTube. And until next time, we are here to empower everyday women through our storytelling. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.